Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for coming back to the Modern Viking channel. I just wanted to talk to you today a little bit about, well, I guess what we'll call it is being weak versus strong. What I see a lot today is mostly a lot of weakness. Weakness, not just physically, but also weakness emotionally and mentally. There doesn't seem to be a lot of mental toughness. There doesn't seem to be a lot of physical toughness. Um, there's a lot of things going on in the world right now as it's 2021. And if you're live right now and you're watching this video around this time, shit's a little crazy. But that being said, I think a problem that may have facilitated some of this is that there's a lot of weak men. I don't see a lot of men standing up for anything. I don't see a lot of men even maybe considering it. Um, I have conversations with strong men, in my opinion, and we have a different conversation than the ones I end up trying to have with weak men. And it's not hard to understand why people and men especially are weaker today than they probably ever have been in history. Um, Society doesn't encourage strong men. I mean, honestly, I think there's been a purposeful elimination of masculinity, um, maybe a demonization of masculinity. You've got your toxic masculinity and everything. It's almost like well, it's almost like just an attack that they can do if they don't agree with what you're saying. They call you a racist, or they call you, toxic masculinity or whatever. Um, there was some things in the news that I saw today. Um, Things happening in another country, but a country a lot like the U.S. And it was really quite tragic what was happening, and it was being done by the government and being carried out by the police to innocent, actually, children. And I had brought this up to someone that I work with and just mentioned it. And this is a weak man by really, I mean, he's physically weak and, in my opinion, mentally and emotionally weak. Does that mean he's a bad person? No, he's a very nice person, as I'm sure a lot of weak men actually are. But I brought the situation up to him, um, and I have some upset about it. It's bothersome. I think to anybody that well, at least any strong man. I mean, what are we? We're warriors. We're protectors. So wrongdoing, and especially to weak people and children, women, things like that. That's wrong. I think we all feel driven to do something to fix it. I mean, I think that's just natural if you're a strong man. Um, anyway, his reaction to the news that uh, some 12-year-old girls were getting pepper sprayed by the police um, outside for not wearing certain facial equipment that seems to be required in a lot of places lately. Um, he said, "Oh well, yeah, it's kind of a bummer." That was his reaction. Well, honestly, I couldn't stand that reaction. It bothered me even more, and so I just walked off. I had nothing to say to him. Clearly, we weren't going to have any kind of dialogue that was productive because he's weak and I'm strong, and I'm not going to change him. I'm not going to make him be less of a weak person and become strong. Um, but it really kind of just hit me like that's the exact problem with society. You don't have strong men in Western society. You may have strong men in other societies, and right or wrong, they may not be nice, good societies, and they do quite horrible things. Um, And I guess that's part of the point, like masculinity and violence done by good people in protection of their home, their homeland, the people they love, I think is necessary in today's society. I mean, it used to be. Now you've got these keyboard warriors, and you know, used to call them telephone tough guys because they'd talk real big on the phone, but they're not going to say that shit to your face because they know why. There's going to be a consequence. They're going to get punched in the face at least um, for saying that shit, acting that way. But now you got all these weak people, these fucking beta male little bitches that you know live in their parents' basement and grow out their neck beards and play video games all day or all night or whatever, smoke weed and have no testosterone and don't lift anything heavy and talk a bunch of shit online, you know, but that's not the real world. I mean, I think we need a resurgence of masculinity. We need strong men to come back. We need men that are able to do violence in a positive way, that are able to protect their own, that are able to say no, sorry, that's not happening. We're not doing this. You don't get to do this to me or my family or my community. And they rise up for whatever. Maybe they use their votes to do it. Maybe they use their um, physical strength, physical prowess. Maybe they use their community position. I mean, I don't know exactly in each situation, but what I'm saying is that it needs to happen. Um, and I think it probably is going to end up happening organically. There's a lot of things that are pushing and pushing and pushing, and either we all become a society of sheep or the sleeping lions fucking wake up and realize, hey, we're lions and this is bullshit, we're not going to fucking take this. And they do something about it. I mean, if you look back at strong men through history, they were capable of great violence. They weren't out of control, violent, insane people. They had it under control, but they were strong, masculine men. They encouraged the women around them to be more feminine just by the simple fact that they were more masculine. Now, fuck, I mean, it's taboo to say that now. Taboo to say, hey, men, be manly. You're saying to a woman to be manly, oh yeah, that's great, that's this and that. But you say it to a man, like, oh my God, no, don't. That's violent and evil. And, well, you know what? Things have worked a certain way for thousands or millions of years. Who knows? There's a reason that until roughly around the 20th century, humankind was ordered in a certain way. And men were men and women were women because it facilitated everything. It really survival, really just surviving. That's kind of what I think we need a resurgence of. And as they apply more and more pressure, either you're going to have the strong rise up, and I suppose you'll have the weak lay down or fall down, whatever. But I guess what I think that for the modern Viking group that I'm talking to, and as I mentioned before, you don't have to be of Scandinavian heritage or anything. I think it's just, to me, it's an ideal, just like America is an ideal. The United States is not. The United States is a government, but America itself, that's something to strive for. That's something to reach for that, I think is quite attainable and one of the best things that the world's ever had. In any case, I do advocate masculinity, And I'm talking to the men out there who are sitting on the sidelines right now, maybe on the fence, maybe not sure what to do, not sure how to do it. Well, I mean, a lot of people are in that boat. I mean, a lot of times I'm in that boat. You don't always know, but you do know what's right and you do know what's wrong. I mean, it's kind of a natural thing. It's ingrained, I think, you know, and you're just going to get better results in life overall if you are strong versus weak, you know. Mark Bell has a great quote about strength. I don't know if I can say it, but it, you can check him out. You'll find out. But I mean, yeah, strength is never a weakness, which seems silly a little bit to say, but the truth is, being strong is important for being a man. Your your women look to you, your children look to you to be manly, and I think this whole weakening of men has created all kinds of problems in our society. It's created weak children and masculine women and caused a lot of honestly I think it's caused a lot of promiscuity, and it's also caused a lot of issues. Now, I'm not judging that. I mean, be promiscuous if you want. It's a free country as far as they tell us, and you know, I'm not here to judge anything like that. But what I'm saying is, there's a lot of things I think that have gotten worse and gotten harder, especially for men. Like you, maybe you're having trouble knowing what to do because you grew up watching these Disney movies that tell you be a Prince Charming, be the nicest person in the whole fucking world, and treat her like a goddess and raise her up on this fucking pedestal, and and then she fucking breaks up with you and she goes out and gets banged out by, this alpha Chad, and you're just confused and you're sitting at home on the couch like, what's going on? And they'll tell you, oh, you need to be nice and sensitive, and it's all this stuff. And while that's all fine and good, and compassion is important, things like that, she doesn't want a woman. She already has girlfriends. She doesn't want a girlfriend. She wants a boyfriend. She wants somebody that's going to be the fucking man. And I know, I realize I've kind of rambled around here and there, but the point is, the main point that I want to make is masculinity is critically important, and I would say more so today than probably ever before, because you have other men, other countries, other places that are very masculine, that are very strong, that are very lethal as well. And as we go forward with this channel and share more content, I will share more tips and ways that you will be able to go from maybe where you're at uh, to a more masculine man. And if you are a strong masculine man already, welcome. We are grateful to have you here, and that's that's the type of man we want. Feel free to comment, talk about yourself, share some things, thoughts, things like that. I have a strong background in um, martial arts and weightlifting and doing hard physical labor and being resourceful. All these things I think are critical. I mean, can you change a tire? Can you handle adversity when things get crazy and stressful? How do you handle it? We're going to talk about mental toughness. We're going to talk about emotional toughness and conditioning. Um, we'll talk about physical conditioning. We'll talk about um, diet. We'll talk about hormones. We'll talk about um, anything that has to do with making men more masculine and bringing out the Viking nature, which to me that's another ideal. Yes, that is my ancestry. But I mean, hey, it's a lot of people's ancestry. They fucked the world, so somebody's probably got some Viking in them. You know, almost anybody does. but but anyway, um, we'll talk about basically bringing out um, that strength from weakness. And if we have some beta males here that are wondering how can I become more alpha, how could I become more of an apex predator on the market, on the sexual market, on just being a man and um, making more of myself, becoming more successful, achieving more things. Um, Being more manly is not going to be a bad thing. It's going to be a very good thing for you, and I encourage it strongly. So please stick around. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about, and I look forward to talking more with you guys. Until then, have an awesome day.